What's up, y'all? What's up? It's your boy Chuck's Payne. And welcome to another edition of Throwing the Towel podcast. I'm your host, Chuck's Payne again. It's just gonna be me today. Like always. No, I'm playing, but just gonna be me today. So today, I'm doing another episode of Amateur Analyst, and we're doing. I know you guys have been following me with the other positions when we're doing the NFL draft. So I'm doing the top 5 sleepers. Okay, not the top 5, not my favorite. The top 5. Well, I guess they are my favorite, but the top 5 sleepers in the draft, because I feel like there's a lot, and I like it. I love the draft talk and everything, but there's a lot of talk about like the first, second, and maybe third rounds, and then everyone. I haven't heard anything about any of these players I looked up. So we're gonna discuss it and see my top 5 sleepers today. I'm doing tight ends. We're doing position of tight ends and looking at the tape and everything with the productions and everything like that. It's looking. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is one of the biggest classes of tight ends I've ever seen. All these motherfuckers is 6'5" and above, and they all can catch and they all can run. It's kind of insane. So it's it kind of gets you a little bit excited about the tight end class, because I'm telling you, bro, you can get a good tight end in the 6th round. One of the times I have on my list is projected undrafted, and I think he can be a starting tight end one day, or maybe a second tight end on the team. But undrafted, there's a lot of tight ends in this draft. This is a very special class for tight ends. But let's get into it. Actually, first, I want to kind of explain, so I've explained this multiple times, but I have a model that I use. Okay, so everyone calling me and asking how I do this and that. I'm actually a data scientist. Okay, programmer / data scientist. That's my actual profession. So the stuff I'm doing with this is I'm just applying that with my profession, my field that I do. So I just create a model kind of like the ones that PFF use. And again, shout out to PFF, because most of the data and statistics I get are from their site, as far as the offensive grades and all that type of shit, because I don't track none of that shit. But I do now, but I don't track it. I just get the data from them and manipulate that, and that way I'm able to extract the best people. So as far as I have a module that two coincide. One is the production module, and the other one is the combine or measurements module. So what I do is I take the top 10, around the top 10 to top 15 positions, top 15 players within their respective positions in the NFL. So for example, today I took the top 10 tight ends graded from PFF, as far as top 10 tight ends graded as far as the past couple years. And then what I will do is that I will get their combine data, and also their production, if they're current enough, their production in college. Again, that data statistics is coming from PFF as well. Pro Football Focus is what I'm saying, PFF. Yeah, PFF. Pro Football Focus, yeah. But anyways, that's where I'm getting some of my data from. So I take their measurements and their combines and stuff, and I kind of compare and contrast that to the tight ends that are coming in this year in the draft, and then it just shoots me out the ones that are match with which match with the top 10 tight ends. And then I do the same thing as far as their production in college. So I take the in college production for the tight ends that are top 10 in the NFL right now. I take their in college production for every year that they're there. Get that average for each specific tight end, and then create an overall average for the top 10 tight ends, and I match and I kind of mirror that or compare that with the incoming tight ends production rates in college as well. So that way I'm getting an accurate data of as far as which tight ends, as far as their production projects well into the NFL, versus which tight ends as far as their traits project well into the NFL. And again, like I said in my last couple of videos, there's some players that show up in both, some players that show up in one or the other, and some players that show up in none. So I'm just saying that because another thing is I don't look. Like I said, I'm not looking at every single fucking tight end in this class. Nobody is looking at every single player in this draft. It's just You just can't. It's too many fucking players. You can't. Like, I respect all the players. They're all great because they all are good enough to make it to the combine or even flirt with the NFL, which means you're a top 1% football player in the country. So it's like, I'm just like, yo, like, these are my projections, and they're going to be based off my model that I have. Okay, so most of the guys I'm going to tell you are guys that the model likes one way or the other. There's a couple in here that the model likes both of them. I mean, the model likes them for their production rate and as well as their traits rate. So we're gonna get into it. The way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna do it from number 5 to number 1. Okay, like I've been doing my other videos. So number 5 to number 1. So the first number five. I want to start with this player. I have heard his name a little bit, but not very much. Like, I just watched Chris Sims' tight ends rankings, and I think he did have him as one of his he wasn't in his top 5, but I guess one of the players to look at that honorable mentions or whatever. But the player I'm going to start putting number 5, and before I says he only showed up in my traits model. So all the traits that the top 10 players, tight end players that have when they came into the league, he matches that. So that's where he's coming from. So it's Zack Kuntz out of Old Dominion. Okay, now Zack Kuntz, I think I'm saying that right. Zack Kuntz. I gotta edit this shit now. but Zack Kuntz, okay. I'm gonna just start with some of his pros. Well, look, let me tell you this. He is your quintessential like pass catching tight end. Like he's like a bigger receiver. Like, literally, he's just like a bigger receiver. His passing concepts are great. He's very nimble. He's like great at catching. He's just great. He's a great pass catcher. He's a solid route runner. He's not a great route runner, but he's a very solid route runner, especially for a tight end. He lines up in the slot. He's big. I forgot exactly how big he was, but I just remember looking like, damn, this is a big motherfucker. Let me look here, because he is huge. So back to it. So Zack Kuntz, this is what I'm saying. He's 6'7". 6'7". That's why I said this tight end group it's off the charts. This guy, okay, Zack Kuntz is 6'7". He's about 255 pounds. So at 6'7", he's 255. That was my other issue. He's kind of lean. Like, that's why I say he looks like a slightly bigger receiver rather than like a tight end. So he has great acceleration, great short area quickness. He's your quintessential pass catching tight end. I saw his so he's that as far as actual pass catching tight end. He's a lot more nimble than some of the other tight ends I'm going to talk about. Those are his pros. Now, for his cons, okay, this is why he's number 5 for me. He has absolutely no inclination to block nobody. He's not going to block nobody, okay? Not, and if he tries, you don't want him doing that. You don't want him blocking anybody, because he's even though I say he's big as far as a target, as a receiver target. As an actual blocker, he's tall, but he's 255. He's very lean, like lanky kind of, and so I don't think it would be a good idea for him to be, if you're putting him in to be like this blocker / receiver threat. He's going to be, if you draft him in the NFL, he's going to be in the slot. Okay, he's going to be a nightmare as far as mismatches go, because he's just too big, but he just can't block. And then another thing I really didn't like also is that when you watch him play, it looks like he's not. I don't know. Sometimes it looks like he's not all the way there. Like, it just seems like he's just like lets plays go or something like that. But again, I'm not judging it, because I don't know the offense down there. I don't know if that's what he was coached to do. But from what I saw on tape, it didn't look like there's any fire, any like big passion or anything like that. So that's my only thing about with him. He's a great player though. Don't get me wrong. He's a very good player. Let me look at his. Give me 1 second. I'm going to look at his. He's projected to go in the 7th round this year, which I think if you can get him in the 7th round, it depends on the team. Because if you're like, let's say a team like the Ravens, I don't think he'll be good for you. I don't think the Ravens like blocking tight ends. I was even surprised when they drafted Isaiah Likely last year, who's kind of like this. He's more like a bigger receiver, more passing. But he's not going to be a good blocker. He's not a run block. You can't put him in when you're running the ball. You can't put him in as pass protection. Hell no. You can't do stuff like that. He's not going to block shit. But he'll catch that motherfucking ball. And he'll get separation a little bit. He is kind of, needs to learn a few moves as far as getting separation and route running, but he's not bad right now. And so he's one of these players that I think would be a good bet to draft in the later rounds, even as early as maybe 5th or 6th round, because he has the traits that are all there. If I pull up his traits right now, he has most of it. He's about 6'7", 255. He has long arms, big hands. 34-inch arms. So 23 reps on the bench press. So he has the tools to be like a really 83-inch wingspan. That's incredible. Yeah, and he has the tools to be a good player. And another thing that I really liked about him that actually put me on the list is his 40 time. He ran a 4.55, which was one of the highest in the tight end. I don't think it was the actual highest, but it was up there like top 3 or 4. So that to me, you can't teach some of those traits. Like some players, there might be better players and this is that, but you can't teach traits like that. Like that, it's either you got it or you don't. So that's why he's number 5 and made it onto my list. I think whoever gets him as a late round pick would be a complete steal. But yeah, so he projected to go to 7th round. I think me personally, I would take him as high as maybe even the late 5th, 6th round. Like that's what I think is a good place to draft him. But so that was number 5. Let's move on. I want to kind of make this quick as well because I hate when these shits get drawn out. But every time I do it, I have so much to say about these players and it just gets drawn out. So let me go to number 5 real quick. Number 5 to me, and this is one of the guys where I said this is the guy I said who was projected to be undrafted. Brayden Willis out of Oklahoma. Now, okay, there's a lot of mixed feelings about Brayden Willis. Okay, because when I watch him play, I'm like, he can have a spot somewhere on the team. I'm not saying he's going to be a starting tight end. I'm not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowl tight end. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is that he has the chance, as far as like his size, he has a chance to be in. I feel like he has a chance to make a roster spot and then also maybe contribute a little, contribute to a team, whether it be a little or a lot. But as far as his pros, let's look at some of his pros, because when I was looking at this, it was kind of, man, I was so confused of whether I should put him in or not. Like even above, what's the name, above one I just talked about. Damn, I literally just says now and I forgot. Zack Kuntz. Yeah, so that he the reason I had him up there, because to me it's just Brayden Willis right now, he's kind of old, okay, but he has more experience. I feel like he's a better what I think he's one of the best at is finding like spots in the zone or finding ways to get open. Like, he's very savvy like that. Like, I like tight ends who are big and are savvy. Like, you don't have to be the fastest player in the world, but if you know how to get open and like you have a big catch radius, I feel like that makes it easier on the quarterback, because you can sit in the spot and he'll throw it to you. And if you can make the catch, you make the catch. He can throw it as high as where you're the only guy who can get it, since you're 6'7". So that's another thing. But yeah, Brayden Willis is. And I'm trying to see here because I know he came up in my production side. Let me see, make sure here. Yep. Yeah, he came on my production side. He and I'll explain to you like the reason why a little bit. But yeah, so he's had great production. He's a 4-year. I think he's been at Oklahoma for 4 years, which is a long ass time nowadays. I think maybe 4 years. 4 years. He in college, if you go look at his offensive grade, hold on. Good. He has about 72% offensive grade, which is not bad. Not bad. When you average it out with the other all pros. I mean, the all pros offensive grade, they have about like a 77% average also offensive grade. But there's people in there that have done differently or whatever. But yeah, so he's not bad. I think so. I'm talking with the pros. He's let me say decent route runner, really pretty decent route runner. Like as looking at his size, like I say, he's long and tall. He's a big target. He has good hands. He doesn't like he has really good hands. Like I don't see him ever catch with the ball. That's sometimes even with Zack Kuntz, maybe like sometimes you see as tight ends like they sometimes have a tendency to catch with their body. He goes out there and plucks it. And even though I'm going to talk about the cons, he was mainly using the slot, and I said matchup nightmare as one of my notes here. Now let me get to the cons, because there's a lot of cons, and I can see why people were like, like putting him as undrafted, because there's a lot of great tight ends, and the cons kind of are scary. So first of all, he's stiff. Okay, he's 6. I believe he's 6. How big is he? I don't know. Come on, Brayden Willis. Come on, 6'4", 240. That's a big guy. It's a big dude. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. He had one of the worst tight end combine performances I've seen. I don't know if it was in the combine from the combine, or if it was combine. One of the worst tight end combine performances I've seen. And his measurables as far as like the other tight ends are really bad. I mean, really bad. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. Even though I said 241, his weight is 241. That's one of the lowest as far as. That's why I say he looks like a big. He looks like a even smaller receiver than Zack Kuntz. Like. He's a big target though. He just looks like a small receiver. His arm length is okay. Where's his 40 time? Because he did not participate in the 40. Well, I hear he didn't participate in the combine for 40, but there is I guess an unofficial time of 4.75, which is not good. To me, it's just not good. Like that's not going to cut it as a big time tight end in the league. Let me see what else he had. His bench was. He only did 20 reps. 3-cone was terrible. It was 7.3. That was awful. Vertical was 32. That's pretty bad. So all in all, he didn't test well at all. He did not test well at all, and it sucks, man. Because I think I watched this tape. When you watch him on tape, you're like, he can be a good player. He can be a really good player, but it's like. I will say though, when you watch him on tape, sometimes it shows, especially his lack of speed. Sometimes it shows because he doesn't create enough separation sometimes, or because one thing you notice is that if a player is always catching contested balls, that means they have really good hands, but they don't have a lot of speed. Because every time you catch a ball, you're always being the defender's always right there. So it's tough. The reason I put him at 4 though is because I do like his experience. I do like how much experience he does have. And another again, I know what people are gonna say, but another good thing is he's from Arlington, Texas. That's where I went to school at. So shout out to Arlington. But yeah, I think Brayden is a decent prospect. He needs to go into the right organization. And see that's the issue with all this whole draft talk that people talk about. Even me, it's like we can sit up here and talk until our faces turn blue, but at the end of the day, for the most part, it's just about what situation you're in. It really is, because that it just is, like, for especially for quarterbacks, especially for offensive players, quarterbacks, receivers, tight end. Like, receivers, tight ends are so like dependent on the quarterback that, like, you can't really even say, like, oh, he was a bust. This is like, well, what if he was in a bad situation? Sometimes quarterbacks the same way too. So we can talk like here until our faces turn blue and everything, but at the end of the day, it's still all about the situation you're in. And I think if he gets into the right situation, if they give him the tools to become successful as far as helping him learn the new few moves, and because he's not going to get faster, he could probably get stronger, but he's not going to get faster. He might be able to get more weight on him. He's not going to get more acceleration. He's not going to get twitchy or whatever. Like, this is going. What you see is what you get. You can get him to be stronger. Teach him some savvy moves, because he does know some savvy moves already to get open. But teach him some savvy moves like they used to do with Jason Witten and Cowboys. I know we're in the era of like super athletic everything. Like every position has to be super athletic, but. Remember back in the day, like not even back in the day, like literally a couple of years ago, Jason Witten, like, I'm a Cowboys fan, bro. Jason Witten was one of the slowest Cowboys I've ever seen, and I'm just like, I don't know how this nigga keeps getting open. He's always open. Like, that's the crazy part. Like, he's so slow, but he's always open. Like, how does that work? I don't get it. How does that work? But anyways, I think if they teach him stuff like that, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He has a lot of experience. He seems like a pretty smart guy. So if he picks up on that, he'll be fine. I feel like he'll be a steal, and he'll be a steal like as an undrafted free agent. I mean, I was kind of surprised about that. Like, damn. But see, that just goes to show you how much depth is in this tight end class. Like, even undrafted free agents are now like, like, you're like, damn, he's projected to go undrafted. But we'll see. But I think he's a good player, and he cracked my list at the number 4 spot. Now, as far as my model, he only showed up in the production side. Another thing I was worried about, I do models for, like, as far as like just every tight end who's in this draft that showed up in the production side compared to the All Pros production when they were in college. And usually sometimes the good players, they show up for multiple seasons. So, like, so I compile every season, like, that these players were in college, whether it be from 2014 to, 2014 to, or like 2018 to 2022, 2017 to 2022, whatever, 2020 to 2022, or I go all the way back to like 2014. And but he only showed up in one season. Now, I don't even remember which season exactly it was. It may have been just this past one, but he only showed up for the one season, which is kind of scary. But he still had production for at least a season, really pretty good production for at least a season to make my production charts. So he's number 4. Okay, now let's start cranking these bad boys. Let's see. Okay. So, number 3. I have number 3. Y'all ready for it? Number 3. LeBron James. No, I'm just playing. But no. Number 3. I'm gonna do. Number 3 is gonna be Brenton Strange from Penn State. Okay, now Strange is projected to be a 5th round pick. One thing I can't say about him is that I don't think he's as big as Zack Kuntz. Actually, let me make sure of that right now. He's another player that kind of he has one flaw, and he's another player that, like, I could sometimes I kind of like manipulate my model data so that some guys will show up on lists, just because it'll be like one thing that excludes them from being on the list, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it might be just one measurement that excludes them from being on the list, and there was one for Brenton Strange. Other than that, he was on the list he was already on the list as far as production. Okay. And one thing, so here's the thing. This is where you can kind of get a good glimpse as far as when you're analytically drafting these or taking a look at these players, this is where you can kind of get a good glimpse of, as far as like where the mindset or like how good of a player is. So you know how earlier I was saying that if they don't show up for multiple seasons, that's kind of scary to me. Or even if they, not scary, but if they show up for more than one season, that's really impressive. He's one of the guys that showed up from. He's one of the. So he showed up. He showed up 2 times. He showed up twice. Dalton Kincaid showed up 3 times, which everyone knows about him. So yeah, so he's one of the other players that I think him and Dalton Kincaid are the only players that showed up more than twice, or at least twice. Yeah, at least twice. So that's impressive. That's impressive. Like, and he's another big body receiver. Not as big as some of the other guys we're talking about, but still pretty big. Well, he's big. He's bigger than Brayden Willis, but he's 6'4", 253 pounds. That's a good size tight end. That's a really good size tight end. And see, what the reason he's number 3 is, the reason I like about him is he's, first of all, hold on, let me scroll down because I'm about to let this fire out. First of all, he's probably the best route runner at tight end. When I was looking at somebody, he's probably the best route runner I've seen at tight end, like by far. Like he does. You can tell at certain colleges that they have a very big like expectation from their tight ends, and that they train them like, you know, in every aspect of their game. Like Penn State, any team in fucking Iowa, Notre Dame. These places are kind of like tight ends, like tight end factories. They produce tight ends. Iowa State, Penn State, Notre Dame, all those type of teams. They produce. Even Stanford, to a certain extent, they produce really good tight ends. And he comes in from that same school. So Brenton Strange, so he's a great, and they're really good at teaching them fundamentals. So they get into the league and they have good habits, and good habits create opportunities for playing time and give you a chance to shine. So he's a really good route runner. Another thing that I liked about him that the other 2 guys don't do barely at all is he's a great blocker. I'm not even saying like decent. He's a really, really good blocker, like damn near to great, because I won't say great, but he's a really, really good blocker. And you can tell, because there's a lot of plays where he plays like an H-back or out the backfield, whatever, and you could tell, like, you know, he was trained like as this. Like, he was trained to block. He was coached up to block. Like, you know, it wasn't just like blocking was just a secondary thing that he had to do. No, he likes to block. He likes to like block people as like, and he makes really good holes in the run zone as far as like for the Penn State. So yeah, that's really valuable. Like, people like nowadays, I guess everyone likes the flashy shit where like tight ends are doing like the most flashy like you know, they're mismatch nightmares, which is true, but the fundamentals are still the fundamentals. You know, the path to the championship is still the same thing. You know, you have to have a great quarterback. You have to have a really good defense, and you have to have some resemblance of a running game. You don't have to have the best running game in the league, but you have to. But look. Okay, look at the past couple years. Other than the Chiefs, right? Because the Chiefs just have the greatest quarterback, to me, the greatest quarterback of all time. So they're an anomaly. Look at all the teams that go to the Super Bowl. Let me think. Yeah, all the teams that go to the Super Bowl, like it's the Niners, or the past couple years, Niners, Eagles, you know, Bengals. Bengals had a decent running game at the time with Joe Mixon. So it's like you still need a running game. You still need some resemblance of running. It doesn't have to be the best in the league, but you still need some resemblance from the running game. However, if you have a quarterback, if you don't have a quarterback that's elite, then you need to have a really good running game, a great running game. And this is what Brenton Strange could do for you, you know. And he can also pass. He's a great route runner. He's a good route runner, really good. He looks fast and athletic on tape. I don't know exactly what he tested Well, actually, I do. I'm just being lazy. Let me see, because I know the test was pretty nice. Let's see here. Don't even have him on here. Let's go to his draft buzz right here. Yeah, he's I don't know, his 40 on here says 4.7, which is pretty good, but I thought he looked faster than that on tape. Like, he has great football speed to me. His broad jump was incredible. He had a really good bench as well. He's 6'4", which is decent size. Let me see. 10-yard. He had a really good 10-yard. That just shows his acceleration, and that's why I said on the route running he has great footwork as well. Really good vertical. Now, I will say the only thing that scared me the most was his arm size, or his arm length. 31 and 31.125, I believe, and that's the lowest, as far as one of the lowest arm length as far as the tight end class in the draft. And also, there's only one player. No, there's no player. There's really no player that has that low of a arm length. And so that's what scared me. That's what scared me, because it's not just the arms, it's the hands too. He has very small hands for someone that big. So that's the kind of issue that scared me. If he had those, if like what I say, like I manipulate the data. So if I just comment out that section of the data where I'm like, okay, let's just comment out the arm length and the hand length. He shows up in both of them. If I comment out the arm and hand length, like remove that from the code, he shows up for the production and the traits, because all his other traits are decent. So I don't know. So that's the thing. But as a football player, I really like him. I really do. I really do. Let me look at his other cons. He's a bit undersized, is what I was saying, as far as his weight and his height. It's not as big as some of the other tight ends, but it's not like it's not like he's like fucking 6'8", 215 or some shit. Like he's still a big guy, really big guy. Another thing I didn't like when I was watching his tape, this was my only, like, one of my really only criticisms is that sometimes, like, he was like too coached up, where like when the play breaks down, he's just standing there like this is where he's supposed to be, like, and I like to see more of that flexibility, where like if you see your quarterback getting out of trying to like maneuver the pocket and getting out the pocket, you find a spot where he can throw a safe spot where he can throw that. That's why I said Brayden Willis did so good. He did. Like, I don't know why no one wants to, but if you look at his tape, he'll find spots where the quarterback can throw it to him. I feel like Brenton Strange needs to do some of that, because he's such a big weapon. He's such a talent that I think he would, he would be good at something like that. He doesn't. I wouldn't say he's the best after the catch either. He's pretty athletic, so he can make a few people miss, but he's not going to be like this other guy I'm about to talk about. But yeah, so he's my number 3. Again, I really like him, and I hope I hope a team that drafts him is needing of a tight end like that and doesn't like fuck him up. Essentially, it says he's going to go in the 5th round. I really think a third. If you get him in the 5th round, that's a steal. That's a steal. Like, it's a steal. I feel like he's more of like a third, 4th round player. And the fact that he's going to be picked on the 6th round is 5th round. I mean, 5th round it's that's just another indication of how good the tight end class is. A decent tight end prospect like this is going in the 5th round. That's insane. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, I'm gonna. It looks like I'm gonna be done with this video pretty fast, which I wanted. Yes, yay. Okay, but back to the subject. For my number 2, so this is where I start getting to like. I didn't do tiers, but if I did do tiers, these last 2 would be like their like tier 1 because they showed up on my model for production and the trait side as well. So So number 2 is Tucker Kraft from was it South Dakota State? That's another thing. Like with those Dakotas. One thing I will say about tight ends and Dakotas. I don't know what they're feeding those Dakota boys down there, but they are cranking out tight ends like it's nothing. They're cranking out tight ends like it's nothing. There's another tight end that's kind of on my list, but he didn't make. I don't know if he made the. I think he made the production side. I didn't think he made the trait side. Yeah, he made the production side. Noah Gindorf. It's insane. Like every year, North Dakota or South Dakota has like 1 or 2 tight ends that are like projected in the NFL. So it's funny, but yeah, it's so weird. They know how to produce tight ends. But yeah, as far so Tucker Kraft specifically, I love him. Like I'm not no homo, but I'm saying like he is a great pro. I like him. I like him a lot, and I think if you get him in the 3rd round, I think it's kind of a steal, to be honest. I think it's gonna be a steal to be honest with you. Okay, let me just pull up his profile real quick. Okay, so he's about 6'5", 254. That's a great size. That's what you want your tight end. That's the size you want your tight end to be. I think he ran in the 40. He ran a 4.69, which is not. This is pretty good, not bad. He's about 22, which I don't really. I really don't care about their ages. Like I just don't understand. That's kind of weird to me in that draft because, like everyone else, like I forgot who said, maybe it was Chris Sims or something. But it's not like it's not like you're marrying like the guy. Why do you care how old he's still in his 20s? He's still young. Like I'm pretty sure the other quarterback, Hendon Hooker, they're like, oh, he's 25. Is that a good thing? Because but then we go on the opposite end. Oh, he's not. He's only 20, 21. We don't want to risk that on a 21-year-old kid. But now you don't want to risk it on a 25-year-old kid. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like that's why I just think sometimes with the NFL draft people, they're so foot up their asses as far as I gotta do it this way, I gotta do it this way. These are traits that are bad. These are traits that are good. That they don't even have any flexibility, and that's why a lot of them end up getting fired because they just don't know what the fuck they're talking about sometimes. But let's get back to Tucker Kraft. As far as Tucker Kraft, bro, so first of all, first and foremost, and I know y'all know I love this whenever it happens. He's in my production and in my measurables model. So he shows up for both of them, okay? Which is a very good indication that he's going to work in the NFL. So as far as his, let's say his measurables, he's about 254, which is not bad. Arm length is kind of short, but it's not as short as Brenton Strange. He has some decent sized hands. 40 was pretty good. Vertical was pretty good. 3-cone was pretty good. Broad jump was incredible. Shuttle was pretty good. Bench was really good. 10-yard was incredible. Wingspan was okay too. Yeah, he tested out real good. And when you let me get back to his notes because it's fun. Like he's one of the funner players to watch, honestly. Because I was like, look, hold on, let me just pull it up real quick. Okay, so if you watch him on tape, right? Okay, this is why I like it. First of all, he's thick, thick. Like he looks like a problem to tackle, and he is. That's what I'm about to get to. But he looks like a problem to tackle. Like he looks like not I won't say jack, but he's just big. Like he's just big, like sturdy type shit. And it's like, damn. Like I'm like, bro. I'm like, how can you not work in the NFL? He's a good blocker. He's a really good blocker. I think Brenton Strange is still a little bit better blocker, but he's a pretty good blocker. He can do that because he's just his size and he has good technique with that as well. Now, one of my favorite things, this is his best ability by far. I'm just thinking about tight ends that, because I'm not a scout, I'm just going to the top of my head. He's probably one of the best tight ends I've seen after the catch since, like, I don't know, someone in the NFL, Rob Gronkowski, Vernon Davis, something like that. But he is amazing after the catch. Okay, someone go watch his tape. He's amazing after the catch, because what happens is he's that big. He's so big and he's very aggressive. Like, he's not a big guy that gets down easily. He's looking to punish you. If you try to run him over, he's gonna run your ass over. Like, he's looking to punish you, and that's what he does. And and then you would think, okay, he's just a straight ahead tight end. No, he has some like quickness to him. He has some quickness. He has some like nice moves. He has some nice moves on, like, as far as the when the play goes. So yeah, he has some nice moves. Like, he just side steps. He does a little like hezzy to the left. Like, he's pretty good. He's really good. I mean, he's really good after the catch. It's not even a question. He's also sneaky fast. Like, he's faster than what people realize. Like, they think he's just a big ass tight end and they're just coming, like, but then he's like, they take a bad angle and he's gone. Like, he's eventually they're gonna catch up to him, but he's gone. It's still like early on. So that's the thing with him. He's very hard to tackle. I said that. That's one of the biggest things. He's very hard to tackle. Great after catch. He's also a great seam route runner, which I see with that was also I believe it was either Zack Kuntz or Brenton Strange, maybe both of them. But it seems like this class has a lot of great seam router tight ends where they can line up in the slot and they can throw the ball in the middle of the seam. So yeah. Now the only thing I will say is, like, as far as the cons, he does look kind of slow on tape only when he's route running. See, it's so weird it's like when he has the ball in his hand, he turns into a different person. Like, I don't know who that guy is, but that's not the same guy that was running that route just now. Like, he doesn't, like, that's my issue with him. That's why I have him number 2, because he would have been number 1 really, but he really doesn't have that wiggle like kind of like Travis Kelce has. Like, so I like tight ends that have that, where like that wiggle and they can find spots to be open. He doesn't really have that. Maybe you can find spots to be open, but he's not gonna wiggle his way out of anything really. He's just more so like a guy. Once he gets the ball in his hands, he's dynamic. He's dynamic for a tight end, which is. I'm surprised I'm even saying that as far as and relating that to a tight end. So that's him really. They say he's projected to go in the 3rd round, which I think it's a decent spot for him. I think anything after that is a steal. But I do think he's going to be a steal overall, like, when it's all said and done. I think he's going to be a starter on someone's team. Probably like a Pro Bowl, or possibly. I'm just saying possibly. I don't know. I'm just saying possibly. But I'm kind of getting tired, so I'm going to do the last one. And this one was kind of a cheating pick because he's not really a sleeper. Like, there's no stretch of the imagination is he a sleeper. In fact, I'm pretty sure some people even have him as their, like, number 1 tight end, which I can see. Let me get his notes. Where is his notes? Okay, I'm back with the number 1 tight end on my list. We're gonna go with Dwight Howard. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why I keep doing that shit. I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm trying to keep myself awake. But it's gonna be Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington, I know he's gonna be probably gonna be a 1st round pick, so he's not really a sleeper. But I just wanted to put him on my list because he is such an interesting prospect. He's crazy. He's almost like he's a tweener from becoming like a lineman. He's built so good though. Like, he's 6'7", 264. 264. That's a big dude. 6'7". Like I say, Tucker Kraft was not Tucker Kraft. Zack Kuntz was a big target too, but he wasn't as thick as Darnell Washington. He's not as thick at all as Darnell Washington. And I'm just so like enamored with it. I really hope, like, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm really hoping the Cowboys draft him just to say fuck it, because who the hell is going to stop him when he catches the ball? Who the hell? And you would think like, oh, there might be something into his game that it's like, well, I don't know about this, but he's almost like has everything. He's almost like decent all around. Like, the only thing I worry about him the most is injuries. Like, kind of how Rob Gronkowski happened to him, kind of like, because people are going to be, he's so big that people are going to try to get him on his legs every single time. They're going to be dying for his legs, and he needs to be, and that injury things might be like something that pops up. But as far as his measurables, I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm just being honest with you. This is ridiculous. He ran a 4.64. He ran a 4.64 at Denver 6'8", 265 pounds. 4.64. It's some running backs that wouldn't even run that shit. It's some motherfucking receivers that didn't run that shit. I don't know if Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers running 4.5, 4.6. I don't remember, but maybe 4.4. I don't want to disrespect him like that, but it's a lot of players that are not running that are way smaller than this dude. A 4.64 is wild. And I'm not even usually like a guy that worries about the 40 because I think it's kind of overrated. But that's wild. That's really wild. He didn't have a good vertical because, I mean, it doesn't really matter that he has a vertical at all. Like, bro, he's such a big target that if you're throwing it above him, then you're just a sorry quarterback. There's no way you can miss this dude. Broad jump of 122. That's insane. That's insane. 87th percentile. Shuttle of 4.08. When he did that, that's when I was like, oh my god. Yeah, you gotta take him. He's gonna be a first round pick. Like, I think he's gonna be a first round pick when it's all said and done. So he's not really a sleeper, but if he falls to the second, I'll say this though. If he falls to the second round, then he is validated to be my sleeper pick, because to me, man, he's one of these players that I don't know why more people are talking about. But to me, maybe it's because he didn't have as much production. But he showed up my production side as well, which is the funny thing. Well, let me make sure here, because sometimes I'll be talking, I don't even know. Yeah, he showed up my production side. Like, he was good. He had a lot of production. His grade on offense was 73, which is not bad. Like, he had a lot of production. So, it's just crazy. Like, what I'm looking at here, like, these measurements are crazy. He was the first one to pop up in my traits list. Don't get me wrong, he was the first one to pop up. 10 yard, 1.57. That's insane for that size. That's fucking insane. Wingspan, 83 and 6'8", and we already knew that he's probably gonna be the best at that, which I think he was, 99 percentile. Hands, 11 inches. You already know that was gonna be big. Arm length, 34 and 3/8, which is, that was gonna be big. Like, I'm not even enamored with those physical stats as far as his arm length, hands, because you already know that's gonna be, he's 6'8" and he's huge. You already know that's gonna be a given. What I'm so incredibly like surprised by when I was looking at this dude, and I didn't know he had that good of a combine. I didn't know he had these great numbers as far as traits go. Like, I mean, these are like mind-boggling, especially for his size. So, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, he has a lot of boom or bust factor. He does because he doesn't. They didn't use him as much as Georgia as far as pass catching, more so than they did with Brock Bowers, which he's probably gonna be like a top 10 pick next year. But Darnell Washington, and he has like an injury thing, and sometimes he does look like a little bit like, I guess, what's the word, like how a giant will run down like on the court, or not in the court, giant will run anywhere. Like, it's just, he's like kind of like heavy foot, like you could tell he is like that as well. But then there's players you're like, damn, like I can see the 4.64. He's faster than like you would think. He's faster than you. That's and even the corners and all the people who are like the defenders, they were trying to. It's like you think he's easy to going to come down. Then you take a bad angle and he's gone. You're like, damn! I just let this big ass like tight end Greek god looking nigga just ran right past me. So it's like it's insane. These numbers are insane. They are. So he's my number one. Like I don't even have too many much notes with him because I was just watching him and I was just amazed. Like, he's really good he's a very good blocker. He's a very good blocker. He weighed 270 at one point. 270. That's like a tackle that's going out to catch passes. That's a tackle. Okay? So he has elite catch radius as far as like, you just throw it up. Just throw it up. And he has good hands. Like, he has great hands. And so, yeah. The only thing another thing I would say is as far as like his con is that he probably is not. He's not going to create. He's not the guy that's going to create separation. You need to look at this guy like Rob Gronkowski, not like Jason Witten or some. This guy. It doesn't matter if he's not going to create separation. If there's someone that's if he's open, throw it to him. If he's not open, throw it to him. Like that type of player he is. If he's not, if there's a player on his hip, give him the ball. Just throw it up to a place where he can only get it. That's the type of player he is. And I really think, again, I think the biggest issue is going to be him staying healthy. If he stays healthy, I think he'll be one of the best players out of this draft period. Like just play the simple. That's the type of talent he has. He has the talent to be the best tight end in the league. He has that type of talent. I don't know if he will get there because it takes this right situation. It takes the right coaching. It takes the right scheme, and also it takes a little bit of luck. Hopefully he doesn't get injured. I really hope that he doesn't get injured a lot. But it's people coming in to the NFL at that size, especially at tight end, it's just tough. They have a lot of injuries because they're big. They're matchup nightmares, and this guy's the biggest of biggest dudes. So, these corners and shit. They're not going to come here and straight up tackle you on your shoulders because they know they're going to get trucked or whatever. They're going to make a business decision. They're either going to make a business decision, or most of them are going to dive for your knees and your legs. And that's the part where I think, that's what happened to Rob Gronkowski. He was just getting beat up. Like, people were just trying to hit the hardest shot on him because he's such a big player. But it is what it is. I think he's going to be a top player in the league. He's my number one as far as sleepers. So that's all I have. Let me go through the list again. So number 5, I had Zack Kuntz out of Old Dominion. He's projected to go in the 7th round. So that was a steal. Brayden Willis, undrafted out of Oklahoma, projected to go, undrafted. That's a steal to me if he goes undrafted. Brenton Strange, 5th round pick out of Penn State. Really good receiver, really good blocker. He's gonna, I think he's gonna be a steal as well. Tucker Kraft, definite steal. Great with the ball in his hands. Kind of stiff, especially running routes and stuff like that. But he has some really great skills after catching. He can block really good as well. Big target as well. Darnell Washington out of Georgia. I think he's gonna be a 1st round pick. So y'all can come and tag me because I put him on the list and it's supposed to be a fucking sleeper list. I get it. I just wanted to talk about the guy. God damn, I can't even fucking talk about him. Even though I didn't want to do a top 5 list because that meant I have to actually look at more than people's tape I wanted to, and I don't want to do that shit. I'm just being honest with you. But he's in my top 5 sleeper list. I really hope my and it could be true, but my inclination, I really hope he's the prospect that I really hope the Cowboys draft him. I really hope the Cowboys draft him. I really do. I really hope they draft him because he will be such a great addition. But okay, but anyways, but yeah, that's round out my list of top 5 sleepers. As far as next couple episodes of what I'm going to be doing is I may do one or two more draft things before the draft, as far as like top 5 sleepers. I'm probably going to do safeties, and if after safeties I'm not doing O lineman. I'm not being quarterback, because quarterback it's just too much variance for me to like. I'm not even gonna sit here and try to create a model that could track quarterback successes and quarterback pass, because there's too many variances of quarterbacks in the league. As far as O lineman, like honestly, like, and I don't have no problem with O lineman, but I just don't want to sit there and watch O lineman. I have no clue, like, I have no clue like what makes one alignment better than the other. But I could do that in my productions and my model list, in my traits model list, but I don't want to do that as well. And draft is coming up ahead next Thursday, so it's just gonna be a wash. So I'll probably do safeties, maybe D tackles, but maybe just finish off with safeties. I did corner, receiver, edge. Now I'm doing tight ends, and I think safeties will be my last position, or maybe another safeties and D tackle, just because I don't know. But after this, thank you guys for watching us and growing with us throughout this draft season and everything. I know there's been a lot of like new draft entertainment or draft like medias that's come out, and I appreciate you guys for coming over here and looking at my content. From the later amateur analyst shows are going to be more so about like basketball, since we're in the playoffs right now, and I really haven't been covering it way too much. But I want to start covering it and doing some breakdowns and doing some like what I think is going to win. And plus, this is this is going to be one of the only like parts where I'm going to be this kind of like brain, like put on my brain hat or whatever, because like most of the podcasts we're just gonna have conversations and have fun. Just this draft alone is where I really wanted to dive into this, just to see, because everyone's talking about these models that they have, this and that, so I wanted to create my own model and see how will it go. And I think hopefully we'll track them out throughout the season and see how the sleepers are doing. But thank you guys for tuning in. There will be a overall podcast with us, with three or more people, maybe 2 people. We will have that at least sometime next month, I believe, like early next month, early May. So keep a lookout for that. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm finna sign out, go do some other shit, but I appreciate y'all. Keep rocking with y'all boys, and like, subscribe to the podcast. Throwing the Towel podcast on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Throwing the Towel 214. Follow us on Twitter, TITTP, and then follow us on TikTok, TITTP, I believe. And we're gonna start posting a lot more on TikTok, start posting lots more on Instagram, and get some content for you guys. Peace.